Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I have some updates to the absolutely insane Grand Theft Auto lawsuit that I want to share with you guys. So Polygon has actually put out a pretty incredible article on their site. It's really in-depth and in detail, has a lot of great photos and quotes, and it's titled The Great Grand Theft Auto Lawsuit Explained. Now, I think they did a really great job with it, so I'll leave a link in the description. And with it, they've been able to get more quotes from both sides because obviously a big company like Polygon is going to be able to reach out to lawyers and sides like Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive. So we've got a lot of more information today that I'm going to be sharing with you guys right now. So I'm not going to be going into the details that I covered in previous videos. I'll leave those linked in the description so you can check them out for yourself. They are basically just talking about the synopsis of what happened. You know, the Hauser brothers and Take-Two Interactive and Rockstar North versus Leslie Benzies. So I'll leave that link in the description. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, it's probably best if you watch that first before me kind of talking about what's going on here. The first of which is someone kind of compared what it's like to work at Rockstar North or Rockstar Games. And it's pretty interesting, the comparison they made. So Polygon was talking about the working conditions at Rockstar Games and why they are trying to guess why things like this happen, where a CEO is forced out of the company. And they reference blog posts condemning the company as horrendous and unacceptable, while a lot of people were complaining that there were cuts to Rockstar employees. And then they kind of talked about what it's like to work at Rockstar Games when trying to get a quote out. And then they referenced a journalist, David Kushner, who was trying to get information for a book he was writing, and he states that he was only able to speak to former employees. So he stated, it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory there. He said, people go in and they don't come out, and you never get to see how the chocolate gets made. He goes on to say, you have to rely on former employees to talk. People who work there are afraid to talk. So that's interesting. We know that Rockstar is a pretty secretive company. Yeah, other companies like Activision or whatever the case might be, they like to kind of share their inside workings, whether it's like behind the scenes or inviting members of the press to play video games early or just get a sneak peek at stuff. Rockstar really never does that. And that analogy to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory is pretty true. Like, you don't exactly ever hear of someone going into Rockstar and coming out. In fact, my friend Jobless Garrett, or Garrett Sutton, he's actually been inside of Rockstar's New York studio, and he said that they had some pretty strict rules on what he was able to do and obviously what he was able to not do. Now, granted, that's just one example, and he clearly doesn't work there, so I would imagine they would have some kind of more boundaries and guidelines for him. But it's still interesting to see the comparison that they made, that it's like a chocolate factory that no one ever gets to go inside. Now, another thing this Polygon article brought up was the relationship between the Hauser brothers and Leslie Benzies and when it all started to go down the drain. So they state the relationship seems to have broken down in the wake of Grand Theft Auto Online. Obviously, the multiplayer component of GTA 5 released just after the launch of the game. So they go on to say the Hauser brothers had little interest in Grand Theft Auto Online and did not focus on its development, according to Benzies. Even so, when Benzies placed his name in the prize spot at the end of the opening credits, a place usually taken by Hauser, it caused friction. Benzies alleges that Sam Hauser was unhappy about this, and he states he claimed to have noticed it only after it had been released, says the lawsuit. If true, this means that he had not played or even viewed the game pre-release, or else he would have seen the opening credits. So Sam Hauser, obviously, who is on the side of Rockstar North here, got upset. One of the reasons he was upset is because his name wasn't featured in the main credit spot. And to his point, that means he didn't even play the game or view it before it came out. To give you guys an example, that would be like writing a paper for school, not even proofreading it and just turning it in. Or, that would be like, directing a movie and then not even watching the final product. You can't get upset if something isn't exactly the way you wanted it because you didn't put in the time to actually view it and kind of analyze it and then adjust and ultimately make changes. So I think that adds to the point that Sam and Dan Hauser might have been more disconnected with GTA 5 than we had all originally intended. And is that kind of scary? Because what does this mean going forward for GTA 5? It certainly seems as if, Leslie Benzies was the brainchild and was kind of the person who put everything in motion when it came to Grand Theft Auto 5. From what we've been reading, it seems as if the Hauser brothers have little to do with actually getting these jobs and things accomplished. So now let's get on to the quotes from both sides. So I am going to be reading these, so they will be slightly longer, but you can of course choose to listen and pay attention. So this is what Rockstar had to say about Benzie's performance. They stated, Leslie Benzies was a value member of our company for many years. Sadly, the events that accumulated in his resignation ultimately stem from his significant performance and conduct issues. Despite our repeated efforts to address and resolve these issues amicably, both before and after his departure, Leslie has chosen to take this route in an attempt to set aside contract terms to which he had previously agreed on multiple occasions. His claims are entirely without merit and in many instances downright bizarre, and we are confident that this matter will be resolved in our favor. It is deeply disappointing and simply wrong for Leslie to attempt to take personal credit for what has always been the tremendous efforts of our entire Rockstar team, who remain hard at work delivering the most immersive and engaging entertainment experiences we can for our fans. Okay, so that's what Rockstar said, and then this is what the representatives for Leslie Benzies said. They said Leslie Benzies' lawsuit, filed 6 months after an unproductive meditation, resulted from his discovery that a sabbatical offered to him by the company as a perk was actually a scheme to oust him after years of company and public praise due to his unrivaled leadership of teams that brought video gaming and Take-Two into the 21st century. Take-Two's lawsuit in response says he does not even have the right to sue, since Sam Hauser and the Secretive Allocation Committee could set royalties any way they liked. However, publicly traded companies have higher obligations than that, and secretive committee whims are not by standard. At the agreed end of the sabbatical, Mr. Benzies found his return to work blocked. The company made no claims about performance or conduct. Letters show the company wouldn't even state why he was terminated, though company attorneys far later raised vague performance issues. We rejected these as unconvincing as fault, a late tactic often used where no actual defense exists. And he goes on to follow up by saying, Mr. Benzies' goal is to seek justice. The complaint he filed is thorough and complete. Wow. So this is getting really in-depth and obviously really heated. The two sides are going back and forth, battling it out, and I don't know how this is ultimately going to shake up and go down. But what I want to talk about next is the future of Grand Theft Auto, because there's another interesting fact that it looks like Rockstar might have actually put the single-player DLC on hold when Leslie Benzies left or went on his sabbatical. So when they told Leslie Benzies to go on break, Rockstar specifically mentioned in a quote that we have no major works in the pipeline right now, and that he's free to go on a sabbatical. So that's kind of odd. You would think the mastermind behind all the Grand Theft Auto games since GTA 3 and its DLCs might want to be involved in a single-player DLC. So when Leslie Benzies went on his sabbatical, did the team at Rockstar Games ultimately can the single-player DLC? I think that might actually be kind of a plausible theory. And going forward, I'm actually worried about Grand Theft Auto. I mentioned in a video the other day that you can't just remove someone like this from such an important role in the company and expect it to be fine. It'd just be like removing the quarterback from a football team or the point guard from a basketball team. It's not something you can just replace, especially when they have so much value to offer towards the brand, which of course was Grand Theft Auto. So with Leslie Benzies gone, I'm actually kind of worried that Grand Theft Auto might not be the same going forward. Now, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below on what you think about that. Do you think I'm overreacting? Do you think that GTA is going to be fine? Or do you think that Leslie Benzies did ultimately have such a big role in Grand Theft Auto 5 that it will be hard to replace him just like he did on all the other Grand Theft Auto games? So I'd love to hear from you guys there in the comment section down below. If you did go on to enjoy the video, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.